Hidden away in the hills above the Antrim Coast Road, overlooking the spectacular coastline at Garum Point, lies a remarkable place called Garbali. Today, it appears time has frozen, a collection of crumbling stone cottages, old walls and overgrown paths, but these ruins were once home to a small, close-knit rural community. Welcome to Garbali, the hidden village of the Glens of Antrim, and welcome to Travel Reel TV. My name is Lawrence. Let's explore. Garbali was also known as a small rural settlement which families lived close together and shared the surrounding lands. Here life was far from easy. The cottages were small, usually consisting of just one room. The single room could be served as a kitchen, living room and bedroom for an entire family. Most of the houses were built from local stone and originally had thatched roofs. So we'll just come into this one. This is a fireplace. Obviously heated the entire house. If you look at this one here, there seems to be a doorway here. So this would have been a larger house. The views from the house were stunning. Just see the views of Scotland. We just come on around here. The houses lie in ruin today, so the stone for this house and for these houses were sourced locally, and they normally would have had a thatch roof. This place is also associated with a very well-known TV program, very successful program. I'll give you a hint. So just up here, that should give you a bit of a hint. If you haven't already sussed it out, this is where the Game of Thrones was filmed. This is one of the locations. This was Runstone Village. So imagine spending a winter up here without electricity, without water, and the only source of heating would be the peat, commonly called turf, which was cut from the land, and they would have heated both the house and also used for cooking in the fires. So I mentioned that this village was also known for a famous TV program. So if you look at the surrounding areas here, and you look at this rock formation, as I said before, that will give you an idea of what this place was. So if you come from this place and then you went over here, they superimposed an AI castle on the hill, and this was the set of Runstone Village on the Game of Thrones. That will be seen in episode 5, so you can have a look at that, and then you can look at the comparisons on the video. So the remains of another house. So these houses in the bottom were used, obviously, families would have lived in this house here. It's a pity that they are where they are at the minute. And if you look around and you look across here, look across this way here, and you would see the likes of these rock formations. So up above them, there would have been more houses. In the summer months, people would have moved sort of up onto the hills. Um, so it is. It was a very, very tough life, and it was a very, very hard life for people. But the community spirit was held together. Census has said that there was at one stage 71 people living in the village. And of course, whenever agriculture became more sort of prominent and more money could be made from it, and then other employment came in, so the young people would have left to seek further employment in the towns and villages surrounding. That put the village in decline, and in 1965, I believe, one person remained by the name of Robert Gibson. He remained up until 1965. So the other fascinating thing about this here is there was also a Cistercian monk from Portglenone Abbey, which is the other side of Antrim. He came here and he lived here in solitude. He remained here until 2012, where he became ill and subsequently passed away in 2013. So Robert Gibson was the last person here, where it was actually the Cistercian monk who then came and lived in the area here until 2012. So one of the houses that was in decline with the likes of these here was actually this house here, and that was actually done up to look the way it is now for the Game of Thrones. If the house was a standing house, but it probably was in the same condition as these. And if we come across here, you see that it's got the thatch roof, the old roof, and so if we come inside, let's just walk inside here. So you see the beams, see the way they've built up. This is a big fireplace. This is a typical one room house where you lived, you slept, you cooked, you associated, and was for maybe a family of 4, maybe 6, whatever. But this is a typical one place for them. Their staple diet was here, would have been, so their diet would have been fish, sea fish, and rabbit. They would have lived off the land with their vegetables and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a pretty harsh time. The nearest village would have been, I think it's called Glenariff, which was quite a few hours walk away from them, and they had to sort of, it would have taken them probably a full day to go and get supplies of whatever they needed to bring back to the village, and then it had to be a hike that came up here. The mode of transport would have been donkey, would have been the donkey, where the donkey would have went down to the water and fetched the water to bring back to the village. And again, that was a pretty harsh time as well. Just bringing it back into the house, I just wanted to show you something here that how you know this was done for the Game of Thrones. This was the window, one of the windows. If you look at this, you'll see that this isn't real rock. This would have been built up for so the props place would have been very, 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 very good. And this here, so yeah, this was definitely the house that was built for the Game of Thrones. Round, this is the house that the Cistercian monk would have lived in before he left in 2012, and the view would have been over the water, and a very clear view of Scotland as well. If you come on round, you can follow the path on up to the top. It sort of climbs up and round, but certainly not for me to be exploring. So you can see all the work of they built these walls. These walls are probably hundreds and hundreds of years old. So you can come down as far as there, and then obviously it becomes private property. You don't come in. Just to explain to people, this entire land is private property, but they have given public access to it for the village, and the land's owned by two farmers, two landowners. I know one by the name of Liam, pretty nice person. Him and his cousin own the land. Liam, he owns most of the land on the bottom here, where his cousin would live. He would own more of the top land. And then whenever you just go right round this way here, then the land is then owned equally between both top and bottom. The reason this is probably private property is because if we come down, you'll see some houses there, and I don't know if you can see just through here. This is a new build house where Liam's cousin has built his house. So obviously they don't want people to be coming down in and around their property, sort of invading their privacy, which is fine. So if you just bear in mind, folks, bear in mind that they need their privacy, and it's important, and it's important that we sort of abide by the rules, because permission has been granted by Liam and his cousin for the people to come up and view this area, and like a spectacular area as it is. So today you can hear the quietness, the stillness, the birds singing, and once this was a lively place running with children, smoke coming out of the chimneys, a smell of cooking, and a real good sense of sort of community, where they would have, where people would have sort of mingled with each other. They were all in the same position, and so they all sort of helped each other. Today, unfortunately, the village lies in ruins. It's being reclaimed by the moss, by the weeds, and But what remains of the village is shared by the landowners, which is remarkable. Some of the houses that are here now, it's like you see they've got a new, like a timber roof in it. So this is used as storage for the farmers. You know, that's probably feed for the sheep. A lot of it's actually wool, sheep's wool. So this is the new build house of one of the landowners, and this is the front of the house here of the Cistercian monk. And if I just pause talking for a minute. You can hear the silence, the quietness, the birds, and then it's ruined by a digger. But that's nothing. You know, just omit that from your memory, and what have you got? You've just got a lovely, tranquil, peaceful area. And this is a good wee shot of the house here. So to recap on Garbali, the village, bear in mind once that this village was a very active place. There was a lot of children playing, a lot of conversations around the kitchen fire, a lot of cooking, a lot of smells of cooking, and there was a lot of happiness. There was a lot of celebrations. There was marriages. There was births. People was born here, and also there was quite a lot of tragedies here. And today, the nature is now reclaiming the village to an extent where the moss has overgrown the paths, and the weeds and trees are actually taking over the houses. But it's written in the landscape around here. It's written in the stone on the walls. It's embedded just in this area that Garbali was once a thriving community, where people knew all these hills as intimately as we know our paths, our towns, our cities, our places. But today, Garbali stays silent. But it's up to us to keep the history going, to keep putting that out to people, and maybe bring more visitors and let them see how life was like back in the 1800s. For me, it's been a fascinating journey. It's been a fascinating video, and there's a lot of history steeped around it, and you can't just, you come away with the sense that, you know, I've now been part of the history of this hidden village, and by visiting it, by coming and seeing it, by recording it, by putting it on video and sending it out to you guys for something that you can come and visit. So just to recap on the village and to finish off the video, I want to say thanks if you've stayed this far in the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming along on the journey. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves as much as I have enjoyed doing the video. And I want to give a shout out to the German family that I met up in the village. and we had a lovely conversation. And they were telling me their itinerary of where they were going, and they'll be heading home soon. So I hope you had a safe and pleasant journey home. And so if anybody else is watching and you have found this video of interest and informative and of interest, no, I would ask you to like, share and comment onto the video. It helps me, it helps the channel grow, and it certainly helps us get across parts of Northern Ireland, parts of the north part of Ireland, Northern Ireland, whatever you want to call it, the island of Ireland. It shows you what we have actually got here, and it's on our doorstep, and we just have to go out and find it. So guys, until the next time, I hope you do like the video. Stay safe, and I'll catch you on the next one.